you're gonna eventually hear that says, it is not if you drop your bike, it is when you drop your bike. And to be quite honest, after 55 bikes, it's real. I've owned bikes that I've never dropped, but I have dropped more bikes that I'm willing to say that I have. Long story short, things can happen while you're riding, or things can happen even when you are just moving your bike and kind of losing balance, and then bikes are going to end up dropping. Sometimes some of the bikes might cause like a lot of damage. In some states, if you hit your frame, that's automatically a bike that is declared like total loss. I mean, of course, if you were to fix it through insurance or whatnot. In my case, I mean, it's easier just to have a big good insurance in the sense of having some sort of protection that's going to at least prevent you from having a total loss or damaging parts that are very, very hard to replace, or maybe saving you from not being able to ride your bike after a crash. For example, you were to crash your bike and your shifter were to make contact with the ground, chances are it's going to break and you're not going to be able to ride back home, something like that. So those things are some of the options and some of the things why you want to spend money on having some sort of like safety on your bike. And that comes in the sense of having sliders on your axles, like on front and rear like I do, or having sliders, which I do not have, or maybe spools or some other areas where you can save your bike by not having the frame touching the ground if something were to happen. All right, so if you have been following me for a while, you know that I'm sponsored by Woodcraft, and today I'm going to be installing the Woodcraft's frame sliders for this bike, which is also the same that you're going to find for Ducati's 1100 from this type of year. This is an 09, and also for 796 of that era. Just check on their website to see which ones are compatible with your bike, but for the most part, you know, there's a lot of models that share the same kind of, you know, frame and maybe subframe, but that doesn't matter, and we're more concerned with this. So couple things that I'm going to tell you. These are not the only frame sliders in the market, and there's good stuff out there, you know, and there's other approaches. People like to put cages, people like to have the ones that are going in here, and Woodcraft just decided to do something different, which is something that goes attached to the actual frame. Why do I like it? Well, a couple things. I don't have something sticking out in this area, which is fine as well. I've done it in the past, and I actually had some. In this particular case, this is where the engine kind of touches or attaches to your frame. So leaving that alone, I think it's a good idea. But I think it's also a good place for, you know, protection. But they wanted to do something different. What do I like about this? First of all, you know, I'm supporting the United States because this is all made in here in the States, which is great. Secondly, these are magnificent pieces that you're going to see. They're just so clean. Like, there's no denying that there's the quality of the parts are there. Also, they are normally building pieces and parts in a way where they can support having changes in the future. And by that I mean, if I were to crash my bike, it's going to be making contact with the ground or the pavement whenever you drop your bike. I don't have to carry around with a damaged part. I can just call them, or I can just go to the website and get this particular part that's bent, broken, or scratched. You don't have to buy the entire thing. If you buy frame sliders like the one sticking out, as soon as you drop your bike, they're going to be scratched and you're going to have to buy another one. Chances are they're not going to sell you only one. They're going to sell you both. So you're spending some on two pieces when you only needed one. So you're paying for it again. With Woodcraft, you're going to be buying the parts, and they are going to be having a specific site on their website where they have spare parts. And that means that you can just choose the part you're going to buy. And for example, this one is made out of, I guess, 4 different pieces. So you can only buy this if you are breaking this, or you can only replace your puck if everything else is intact and you can still use it after getting into a crash. Okay, so let's go through the installation. I'm only going to show you one side because I don't think you have to look at both, because it's primarily the same, you know, the same process on both sides. And I'll put on the screen the torque measure you're gonna use for this. I'm glad that this is all black because I'm just trying to black out everything on this bike. For a second I thought about changing the color, but I'm pretty happy with this right now. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, this part and this part go like so. So they're going on that vertical bar. Right now I'm just gonna leave everything kind of loosely tightened, and then as we continue connecting the pieces, we're gonna go ahead and continue to tighten the bolts. By the way, I'm using a 6mm and a 5mm. Okay, so now that piece goes here, and then this is essentially kind of like 3 different pieces that are going to be connecting to each other. They have good instructions, so I'm going to run this like so, and you have a countersunk bolt in here. This bolt, I'm gonna put the same bolt that I just removed here. I'm gonna leave it kind of floating, and then I'm going to do this. So you're going to see that these 2 holes countersunk are going to go here, and then the third countersunker is going to go through here, and they are providing you with the length and the bolts that you need. So I'm going to run this one through here. I run it before. I'm gonna get it started, and then I'm going to install the other 2. I'll do the same. I'm just gonna leave them kind of started, and then okay, at least the pieces, all together right now. Okay, since I'm dealing with a very small amount of torque and I don't want to use my big torque wrench, I'm going to be using my electronic one, and we're going to be setting these 2 bolts to 18 pounds. So I'm just gonna start by tightening them, the ones kind of holding the frame. So I'm still not torquing completely. I just want to kind of make them more snug so it happens in a more even way. Okay, you can feel that they're getting really snug, but I want to do them kind of all at the same time. Okay, that's 18 pounds. 18 pounds, perfect. So now I'm going to take the small one. Okay. Make sure this is flat. Something that I forgot to mention that I also liked a lot about this is the fact that they're using very, very, very good hardware. This is 10.9 grade, and this is 12.9 as well. Okay, so now you have this piece. This one has a hex number 8, and you're going to be screwing this in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to put it up. And the reason why I want to do that, actually, I want to center this. Let me see, because I wanted to say Woodcraft kind of facing the right way. So I might move it like so. Okay, I'm gonna lock it in place. Now I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to be running the bolt underneath it. Okay. That way, I put it to the bottom because that way you don't have a hole that exposed, and maybe if you get rain or stuff, it's going to be kind of getting inside. Okay. And there you have it. I want to bring it closer so you can see it. Here's how it looks. You know, it looks decent. It says Woodcraft in here, so you can see the word. And this is how it looks from the front. And considering that I'm trying to keep my bike, you know, kind of all black, at a glance, if you look, you can barely tell that's there. And that's, I know, some concern for some people that they don't like sliders, but to be quite honest, having sliders is better than just not having anything. Even though you can break your bars, you can fix them, they're not that expensive. These plastics are expensive. Frame, as we already talked about, can be determined if your bike is going to be total or not in a rate or an accident. So this is how you do it, and then if you're curious, this is how the other side looks like as well. All right, so good. This is a good upgrade for your bike, just to kind of, you know, make sure that your frame is going to be safe. If you're racing and you eventually go down, you can, you know, safely just get the parts and replace them without having to really deal with a lot of expensive parts you're replacing, besides replacing this, which is, you know, easy and cheaper than, you know, covers for your engine, your exhaust, you know, your frame, and some other parts that are going to get damaged in the event that you go down. So since I'm sponsored at the time of this video, I can offer you a free t-shirt if you spend more than 100 on Woodcraft using my link. So I'm going to be putting my link on the description of the video. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'll go ahead and put the link for this one specifically, but you can also buy anything and you can get that t-shirt if you were to spend more than $100 on Woodcraft using my link. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to, you know, reply back to you. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have dropped your bike and you have thought about, man, if I had sliders. It has happened to me in the past, and I've dropped bikes with sliders as well, and I damaged them, and I had purchased them, but, you know, happily to do it, since, you know, that was the only part that I had to replace as opposed to replacing more expensive parts. So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.